Welcome to Queued Up. On today's show, we're going to cover a lot of great topics, including Simple showing flashes from the past, a couple standout clips in his series of FaZe. Will he make it into the LAN as we all visit the site on Thursday? Also, over on the league side, we get Uzi, the second inductee into the Hall of Legends. Is he deserving of this? We'll discuss that later on. And most importantly, perhaps the event of the year. We've got COD, we've got Halo, we've got CS2, and much, much more. IEM, CDL, Dreamhack, it doesn't matter. It's all in one place. Welcome to Queued Up, where the lobby is open, the mics are hot, and nobody's dodging. Joining me today, Davis, Eli, Nick, and of course, I am your host, Kepley. Today, where's CJ? He's off doing other important things. Today, we've got a few segments for you. One is brand new. We're starting with the feed. Everyone went and gathered some cool tweets. Then we got the big story. The big story is going to be Dreamhack, Clutch Your Kick, and Pick Ems. How you guys doing today?
Doing great.
Yeah, I'm doing awesome. I can't wait to get to Dreamhack, but let's yap about it first.
Awesome. But let's kick it off with the feed, Davis. I'm going to come to you first. I'm pretty sure I'm not messing. Eli, I'm coming to you first. I lied. This is why CJ's the host. Eli, you've got a cool tweet for us. You want to tell us about it?
Yeah, so I'm really excited about Splitgate 2. So Splitgate 1 was one of my favorite games. It did kind of peter off as far as popularity goes. A lot of players stopped playing it, but the beta is dropping literally tomorrow. It's going to launch with a overhauled Forge mode, essentially, a map editor that a few of the Halo editors have already got their hands on. Shout out to Unique. I'm sure he's making some awesome maps, but I'm excited. The beta is going to stay active all the way until the full game releases. So basically it's out. Splitgate comes out tomorrow.
Yeah, at what point do you really even call it a beta anymore? If it's going to be out to the whole time, the game's releasing in 2 days, and it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. And like you said, unfortunate timing with that. It's coming out as we're all going to DreamHack, but it'll be there warm and ready for when we get back.
Yeah. Perhaps a topic for another day. When does a game go out of beta? Tarkov's technically still a beta, right? Tarkov's been in beta for years. Yeah. But Splitgate, I mean, why are you excited to that as a Halo fanboy, right? Is it that arcade type arena shooter?
I think Splitgate has the potential to become like the next good esport if it gets enough backing behind it, because it incorporates kind of the gun skill of Call of Duty. It's a little bit faster time to kill than Halo, but of course the portal mechanic makes an extra layer of gameplay. They've got some new power weapons they're introducing. One that's like a dual wield gun that's really fun. And there's just new modes that they're coming out with as well. Even on the casual side of things, there's some cool stuff like an 8v8v8 mode. It's like big team battle, but multi-team with 3 teams, and it's just utter chaos. I feel like the map cannot be big enough, but it's gonna be so much fun. I played the alpha test, and I was having a blast. I couldn't put it down.
I love it. Davis, what do you got for us?
Yeah, so for my tweet, obviously, if you're interested in CS at all, you know the King has returned. Simple is back. 608,000 people tuning into his first match against at IEM Dallas, and it actually peaked at a total viewership of 800,000. Me personally, a huge fan of Simple, huge fan of CS. Really excited to see him back. I think it's going to bring a lot of emotion to the stage, and I think it just shows just how much one figure can really bring to a esport.
I agree. I'm going to table that because we're going to talk more on that in just a bit. So we'll go to my tweet where there's a new mouse that came out from Corsair. I used to play a lot of MMOs. MMO mouses are something that are relics of the past. Logitech, I read up. This one integrated straight with Elgato. So our friends in production there, they can put the Stream Deck keys in that mic or in that in the mouse there, so they have 12 keys to go through these scenes for us here and help up that production quality. So pretty excited for that.
That looks really cool for streamers specifically, because if you've got maybe different effects that you can include, or maybe scene changes that you want to do on the fly with your mouse, that's really cool. My concern though is, like, are the competitive community going to start using this mouse for competing? Because I mean, having 12 buttons on your thumb seems a little bit overkill if you ask me, but hey, maybe it can make you even better at the game.
Yeah, some of them already do for some crazy like league sort games, like do use mice like that. But I think the big thing that the tweet was showing off was the Corsair Stream Deck virtual deck. Instead of having to have an actual Stream Deck, they have software that kind of integrates as well, that you can macro and put on other things and integrate into mice like that. So it's possibilities are endless, and that's one example that looks like it's going to be pretty cool.
As a Destiny player, I'm excited for it because I'll be able to well skate or shatter skate really easy. So it's just a good traversal method when you're solo or doing speed runs.
He's not cracked. He just uses macros. He admitted that in front of everybody. He doesn't know how to do it.
I suck.
He
I
uses
need the macro keys. It's a crutch at this point. Nick, speaking of crutches, tell me about your topic.
Tens is back, ladies and gentlemen. The return of the King, Qbert Academy, Sentinels Academy roster. He's coming back for Stage 2 playoffs. Couldn't be excited more. Loved the kid since day one. I'm looking forward to this. To be honest, whoever that they got round one, you're in for a put down.
Yeah, isn't it a bit unfair? I mean, Tens is a former, best
two-time Masters
champion, one of the best to ever do it, but he's playing in Academy. The poor guys on the other side. I don't know how I feel about this. Can you just get him on a pro roster? I don't know.
Bro actually speed ran retirement.
I don't know. I'm pretty interested to see. I think he's definitely going to be one of the better players, especially resume-wise going up. But, I mean, Academy kids in Valorant, they're no slouch for sure. Tens has been away from the game for a while competitively. He hasn't been in the actual mix. I think this is a perfect spot for him to land, and then obviously I think he'll run through it. If he stays consistent, he'll be ready for the pro scene.
Yeah, I think this is his I've got the itch to compete again. I'm going to come back. Let me dip my toe and see how I can still do it. And I'm looking forward to the actual return.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think that he's probably just fine. I mean, what's so interesting about these pros that retire and then come back? I mean, we talk about Simple, now Tens. It's the one-time GOATs, you think they really lost their skill in just a few years' time? Probably not. They're not playing at the highest level, so there is some loss. You're maybe not playing at the same speed as everybody else. Got better while you stopped playing, but, I mean, it's only going to be a few games, I think, till they get back in form.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Sounds good. Eli, you're up next. Fifth tweet of the day. What's your other cool topic here?
Yeah, so this is an interesting one. This is from my buddy Snipe Down. So Snipe Down is talking a little bit about esports contracts as a whole. His argument is essentially that there should be more incentives for performance in esports contracts, and you should also have your pay docked if you don't perform well enough. So, I mean, if you talk about one of the highest paid teams in the league for Apex, for example, Snipe Down's game is Team Falcons, of course. They won their last LAN, but hey, what if they fell in the top 40 and didn't even make the finals? Should they not make as much in the next month? I disagree with that take personally. I think that the base salary should take a hit. I think esports players are overpaid, to be completely honest, but there should be more of an incentive when they do pop off. Maybe a lower floor, but also a higher ceiling.
So you think taken from the UFC model, performance bonus, fight of the night, stuff like that?
Right, but the part that I disagree with is the docking part. You shouldn't, just because you have an off tournament, you shouldn't make less money. It's still your job at the end of the day. That's if you're a construction worker and you accidentally drop a important item, now you get paid less on your paycheck. I don't know. It seems a little bit backwards if you ask me. Might as well start by paying them less and then give them the opportunity to earn more.
Nick, you got a background in finance. What are your thoughts here?
Well, as a guy who's currently under an esports contract and the same organization that Snipe Down is under, I'm going to say that the conversation is very nuanced, but also no comment.
No comment. Fair enough. Those lines have to be drawn. Davis, do you want to comment on that, or do you want to do your tweet?
I think Eli summed it up pretty well. I think that's pretty much where I see it too. I think as a whole, the esports players are overpaid to start off with, and I don't think docking pay is really right to do to anyone. So I think lowering that base play to start out and then giving them incentives as you win more tournaments is probably the best way to go to it.
Carry us into your next tweet, Davis.
Yeah. So my next tweet, which I thought was really relevant because of how much we've been talking about NIP recently. Yesterday was actually the 3-year anniversary of Brokey's clutch against NIP. It was in the quarterfinals of the Antwerp Major. So I'm going to get production to roll the clip here because it's actually a really great clip for Brokey as well. I mean, Brokey's kind of taken some hits this year in the scene. People talking about how he's not as good, but just watch this of what he was.
Looks like a lot of missed shots.
No, he was bodying him.
He's got a Tech 9.
Love the Flom commentary as well.
Got the
Look at that movement.
Yeah, he was skating a little bit.
Oh my God.
Wow.
So Brokey.
How the mighty have fallen.
Wow.
Exactly, how the mighty have fallen. So I thought that was a great tweet to show. I really just wanted to show it because, like you said, Brokey's been taking a lot of hurt this year from people, a lot of hate, and I think, he's a tremendous player, and I think he'll arrive back to where he was.
Okay.
Any comments on that?
Nah, I think that's a prime example of if FaZe need to sit that guy down, they're a pretty good team.
Yeah, I think it's a prime example of Davis was so hurt by our comments, he had to go 3 years in the past to find a good moment for Nip. So we'll go ahead and transition into my tweet now. I'm going to get out of that, not let Davis comment back. So Clash of Clans set to become an animated series on Netflix. I used to play a lot of Clash of Clans. I played Clash Royale on the phone. I mean, if there's a game series on the mobile device that should be an animated series, I'm thinking Hog Riders on screen, Baby Dragons. This is going to be a cool one. I just thought it was neat. You guys, what do you guys? You guys like watch animated series at all?
Yeah, I like animated series in general. Like Arcane's one of my favorite ones, obviously. But this one, I'm curious to see how they take the like the story of it. But I'm excited for the battle animations because I feel like that's what Clash of Clans is all about, right? It's like building this crazy epic army and then letting it destroy another person's town or whatever, right? Like those animations with today's technology should be some pretty cool battle scenes, I think.
Yeah, I'm curious what direction they're going to go with it. Are they going to make it like a kid show, or is it going to be kind of more of an adult humor-esque? So we'll see. We're curious to see. But we unfortunately missed in the plethora of news, Gears of War 2, or Gears of War is actually getting a TV show, and some massive names on the writer side and the director side. So I'm looking forward to that one too.
Yep, and we're almost at the end of the segment. So Nick, introduce your tweet for me.
Borderlands 4, Mr. Randy Pitchford yet again opening his mouth, but in a great way, says a real fan will pay $80 for his games. And hey, he's backing it. He's loving his products, and hopefully the game's is good. Like we've discussed previously, Borderlands 3 and Tiny Tina's kind of disappointed for the franchise fans, but hopefully Borderlands 4 will show up. And I think it's going to live right on there with that $80 price mark that everybody's going with. So, hey.
Yeah. I think he commented that it was out of his hands, but like a real fan would find a way to make it happen.
Yeah.
And, I agree. I don't think every game needs to be free. But speaking of things that I would pay at least $80 for, it's the big story for today, and that's going to be Dreamhack, everybody. So we've got a lot of good storylines going there. I've got my bracket here somewhere. I'll pull it up. But let's start with the event itself. So actually, if you guys didn't mention, this small plug for Skill Diff, Dylan and Pat talked about this in a great segment over there on that show, The Breakdown. And I'm going to just steal their homework, right? So segment 1, let's talk about the event itself. It's one of the first events in years where we get a lot of games locally in the same event, the same venue. We've got Halo, Call of Duty, we got chess, there's a Valorant Open, there's COD Challengers. There's so much going on in Dreamhack. You get a lot of bang for your buck. What do you guys think? Is this like a one-off thing, or do you think we're starting to pave the way for the future?
I mean, as somebody that was part of the golden era of MLG when we had Super Smash Brothers, Call of Duty, Gears of War, and Halo all in the same venue, I'm really excited for this because I think it does give like a different type of vibe where the different communities come together. It's kind of rare for communities to come together nowadays. Everyone's so segmented in the esports world, but this is going to be cool. You're going to start to see where like the audience are going to start competing with the audiences of other games. Like, oh, Simple popped off with a triple kill. Yeah, well, Formal just hit an overkill here in Halo, so we're going to get even louder for our game. So it'll be cool to see kind of the dynamics there. I know the venue's not really set up for that to be possible, but it'll be fun.
Yeah, a lot of walking. Go ahead.
I think this is going to be crazy. Just looking at my notes here, we're going to get 11 different champions in games. We've got Brawl Stars, Chess, Halo, Rainbow Six, Call of Duty, the Pro League and Challengers, StarCraft, CS2, the Pro League, and Impact is kind of what they call their little B League. Valorant, GeoGuessr, Overwatch 2 Stadium. 11 different championships in this 1 million square foot thing. It's going to be a movie. It's like, I'm so glad I'm going to coach, but it's like, I'm not going to be able to get to enjoy the whole event. It's going to be, sleep isn't going to happen. It's literally going to be a movie.
Yeah, go ahead, Davis.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a perfect event. If you love gaming, if you love esports, this is the event for you. It's super cool. Kind of like Eli said, all these games have been so on their own and isolated for a couple years now, and it's really nice to see everybody come together, especially when it's the giants of the game. You have you have Valorant, you have CSGO, you have Counter-Strike, all these games coming together. It's really big for the community.
Yeah, it's even taken some PAX-esque moments as well. Like there's going to be tabletop games, there's going to be VR, there's going to be game booths, there's going to be sponsors, there's arts and crafts, and probably some cosplay stuff too. It's crazy how much
there's
going to be.
There's a cosplay competition, which those guys always blow my mind. Most of them are like 3D printing their whole setup so that they can look exactly like the character from a game. But more than that, there's going to be like 125 total vendors, which I think includes like people that are going to have food stands set up. There's also like Artist Alley where people make little handmade trinkets of like different gaming things. So it's going to be really fun. Interestingly though, what I'm kind of really excited to see is GeoGuessr. I've been watching so much GeoGuessr on YouTube, and to see it happen live, like in the flesh, that's going to be cool.
So, Davis, I want to come to you for a question. I know a lot of times we'll pick on you being the youngin of the cast, but it actually plays well here, right? Because back in my day, right, when we would go to the events, everything was together. Like Eli said, at MLG, you had so many things. I feel like in your age, that's a bit gone, right? So
100%.
Are you excited about this, or do you think this should be the future, or do you like going to an event for a single game?
So I think it's a good thing to build the future. I don't think it's something that should be every single event. It shouldn't be everything together all the time. I think it's a great thing to really build the community and show everybody like, hey, we're in this together. Like, this is esports as a joint, as an industry. We can come together and have big events. And I think that truly builds each one individually and brings eyes to other games that might not normally see it if they just go to their one-off event by themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you could have, that's a great point that I didn't even think about. I think you can't have 10 of these a year, right? Or else it's not special. It loses all its flair and flavor. So I think it's like, yeah, maybe 1 or 2 of these a year. And I think, to be honest, the perfect middle point for all this series, I think, is a great time. So hopefully they'll stick with that model.
Now, do you think this builds like team brand bonding? So like if I'm here for Optic, right, if they get knocked out early in Call of Duty, they're obviously going to make a deep run in Halo, right, jumping from game to game there. Like, do you think it should be one team across all to draw that, or does that matter across the different esports?
I mean, I think it is a cool opportunity for orgs that have teams in multiple games. It's probably easier to like save money on travel. Maybe they just ball out on a huge Airbnb and they've got the Halo team and the COD team staying in the same house. I think that it can also breed like opportunities for different pros from different games to like instill wisdom or knowledge on other games. Like, yeah, we struggled from this, and maybe those orgs can have their pro players learn from each other in a unique way. But I think it is cool also for a fan that just loves a certain org. They're going to get to watch that org compete in multiple games.
Yeah, Envy, we've got actually the Rivals team is actually boot camping there. There will be a meet and greet. Hopefully that's public by the time that this is coming out, or I hopefully didn't just spoil anything. But the Valorant team will be there. We'll be there as well. So we've got a lot of content planned for Envy for this event too. So it's a great time for us.
Cool. Speaking of stories and great events, Simple, we see him making a run right now. We came in here. They're currently playing Heroic. It's a team that I've never heard of, but they've been putting on a fantastic showing for this event. Simple, is he going to make it to land? What are some storylines in Counter-Strike you guys are looking forward to? The fall of Vitality. Will Falcons beat them? Will Mouse beat them? What are you guys looking for? What's your most exciting thing for Counter-Strike?
I mean, it's exciting to see Simple in the mix, but I don't think he's the main storyline here. I think that the Falcons and m0NESY are the main story here. I think this might be the event that we finally see Vitality fall, because to be honest, I've been watching their games in the early going. They're looking a little bit shaky themselves. I mean, teams that are much lower down the totem pole, they're getting taken to round 11 or like 13 to 11 score lines. You know, these games are closer than they should be. And then Falcons is just utterly decimating people. I think m0NESY is finally finding his form, and I'm excited to see what he can do. He's going to put Simple in the dirt if they play against each other.
It's interesting you say that, because Heroic actually took Falcons to game 3 yesterday. So Heroic with an upset on map 2. A lot would argue you shouldn't have even went to map 3. So I would say Falcons have looked shaky as well. So, but Mouse have looked unstoppable. I don't know, Davis, what's your storyline you're looking for here?
Well, I was actually going to comment on the game that you just talked about with Heroic and Falcons, because Heroic has actually been building pretty good recently. I've seen a lot of articles about 2 players that they have, Sun Pius in particular. He's actually been playing really, really good for them. And I think he was a tremendous reason that they were able to win the map yesterday against Falcons. But I'm looking at the same team as Eli. I think this is Falcons. I think this is their event. I think it's their time. They've been trying to do it. I think Vitality looks a little bit shaky, but the thing that I've noticed is, so Vitality, throughout the rest of their streak, they kind of had this same thing going. They didn't really talk much. They come to this event, they have brand new jerseys. They want to be seen. They're bright yellow, and they actually got interviewed about it, and they talked about that. They thought that this was their time once they broke the streak to, come and show like, hey, we're here. And so I think, with that little bit of cockiness in their head and the way Falcons are playing, I think it's their time to do it.
The target on their back just got a lot bigger with those bright yellow jerseys.
Yeah. They actually commented about it on the interview.
Those things are sick, but at the same point in time, I was watching the opening matchup for FaZe the other day, and I don't know if it's simple hate or just Eli loves this comment, the old biased caster situation, but it was like early on against their first round matchup against Liquid, and FaZe lose the round. I'm pretty sure it was a very close game, and the announcers go, well, at least they'll still have their tracksuits. It's like, because they tweeted out how they got these new awesome tracksuits, and it's like, all right, let the org, it's not the players that are doing this, it's the org that are saying, hey, show off this nice cool thing so that we can sell millions of dollars worth of clothes. So we'll see.
For me, I mean, I always do this. I always bask in this glory. But the Mongols, baby, we're here. We're looking good. Again. Mongols versus Vitality. I mean, Mongols are guaranteed into playoffs against Vitality. And I would have never picked it, but you guys will hear my cheers tonight if Mongols upset and break the Vitality streak. If that's the team of all teams, I mean, I'll be stoked.
I don't think
I'll
there's
be happy for you.
I don't think there's a single surprise on the 4 teams that are already in: Vitality, Mongols, Maoris, Falcons, right? However, if we look at the bracket and the other 2 sides of it, you have in the Group A, you have G2, 3D Max, Gamer Legion, and Furia are all battling for 1 spot. And then on the other side of it, you have Heroic, FaZe, Liquid, and Aurora. It's like those two groups aren't necessarily even. I would put any Heroic, FaZe, Liquid, or Aurora better than any of the other 4 teams. So it seems a little, unfortunately, lopsided. So I'm curious.
I'll give you a moment to defend Furia, because Furia has looked pretty good. And I think that Mongols did get a little lucky with getting Furia fresh off the flight, because Furia looked good in Astana. Do you want to defend Furia?
A little bit. I mean, I kind of just wanted to comment on what he said. I mean, the 4 teams in the bottom are clearly better than, I think, the 4 teams up top. But Furia is a tremendous team. And since they've added Yekindar, they've actually been playing really well. They played against Mongols right after getting off the plane, and I think they were a little jet lagged. But I don't know. I mean, maybe they come out of their 4 teams. I'm not sure. I think they could be the team I see coming out, Furia. I think it's going to be Furia and FaZe, personally, that are the last 2 teams that come out.
That's a hot take. Oh, hopefully we'll find out right after we get out of here if they even made it past Heroic. Yeah. But now let's transition over. FaZe, from one, they're struggling. They're dominating the other. We got the CDL coming here to Dreamhack in the Call of Duty League. Storyline, same thing here. I'll start us off. I mean, you guys already know I've been preaching that I think this is the event for Optic. They're looking hot. I think that this last time, Eli, I know you weren't here on Monday, but last time they got 3rd place in an online qualifier was almost a year ago. It was back in May. Modern Warfare 3, they got 3rd place. They went on to win that Major 3. Here we are, Major 4, champs, everything matters. I think Optic are going to make a deep run, if not win the whole thing. Anyone else got any other storylines?
No, Davis and I already went in on you on that. Let Eli rebuttal.
I think that's extremely faded. I think that the Optic team definitely looks really good. I'm definitely a huge Mercules fan. I think the team is definitely gelling well, but I think they fall in their match against Ultra. They run into Ultra, I think, winners round 1 or 2. Yeah, winners round 1. And Ultra, I think, are just going to be a little bit too cohesive for Optic to overcome. And then Optic have to play in the lower bracket. I do think they make a run, maybe even the top 6, but it's hard to win an event if you start on the lower side. And I think that's what they're going to do.
I actually want to defend you here, because the more that I looked at this, I think the bracket actually lines up really well for them. I think they win round 1 against Ultra. I think they get bounced the 2nd round to FaZe. But then I think once they get bounced into the bottom of this elimination bracket, there's really not too many teams that I see beating them. And I think they're going to be able to go to top 4 pretty easily. So I could definitely see them making a run.
Okay.
Anybody, because we already know I'm on board with this.
I just think this is going to be an extremely weird tournament period, because everybody is already thinking about champs.
Yes.
And I think that just tells a lot of the storylines. And the unfortunate part, like we talked about on Monday, it's that LAT Surge match and that Texas Ultra match round 1 are going to be the big eyeball matches, and then obviously the finals. But I'm hoping nobody's got their foot completely off the gas just yet. I'm thinking about champs and not thinking about this major and land that's in front of them.
Yeah. So I want to go ahead and transition forward, right? Because it feels like Call of Duty, right? We'll just go in circles around that. But Halo, it's a rare opportunity. I get Nick and I get Eli on the same show. So this is a time we don't get to talk about Halo often on this show. So can you guys tell us, like, what are the storylines here? I'm hearing that this guy Nemesis is the GOAT. I'm hearing he's doing good things. But I know that the age-old story is Shopify versus Optic. Is there any other team here that can make a run? Maybe.
It's Optic or it's Shopify. I think we could beat anybody on any given day, but it's Optic and it's Shopify. And I'm actually, since we don't have any pick'ems, that's kind of why I was skirting the fence a little bit when we were talking about CDL and CS, because we have some pick'ems in a little bit. Yep. So I don't want to give away all my ammo just yet. But since we don't have any pick'ems here, I think this is Shopify's tournament to take. Optic got hot. Optic got the last one. I think this is Shopify's tournament to take.
I disagree. I think I have to go back to back here. I didn't see enough from the young guns. I mean, Cycle, to be honest, Cycle on Shopify has been absolutely incredible. Last Shot hasn't really found his form or comfort zone in the grand finals yet. He wasn't his normal self. Also, he was doing most of the objective, which I think is weird for their team. Royal 2 needs to step it up and actually run a flag for once, and then maybe Shopify can win. But right now, it feels like Optic is the better team. I do predict that Shopify bounce back and maybe start winning later in the season. But for now, I've got Optic winning this. By the way, Nemesis is a team, not a player. Nim is their mascot, though, so Nemesis is the GOAT on social media. He's the little plushie that they always put up. Their social media team's amazing. I think that team is really interesting. Best team from Europe. They've got Wutum, who's the mouse and keyboard phenom. They did upset Optic in pools at the last tournament and then almost knocked them out of the tournament, but Optic reverse swept them in the lower side.
Yep.
So I think that like if they just don't buckle to the moment and they actually perform at their greatest, I think Nemesis could sneak into the top 3 at the very least.
Wow.
Yeah.
Davis, what are your comments?
I'm actually really excited to watch this Woodham kid. Eli's actually been telling me about him, so I've known about him for a couple weeks now. The fact that he plays keyboard and mouse and he's a professional on Halo is just amazing to me because I myself have played Infinite on keyboard and mouse because I'm a keyboard and mouse player, and it just seems insane and impossible to do it like a professional level. So hats off to him. My pick to win is Shopify. I think they'll bounce back and beat Optic. I'm not super knowledgeable, so that's kind of a vibes pick, but I think Shopify will win.
Got it. So I want to play a fun game with you two, right? Because I'm ignorant to the Halo scene, right? You guys are the experts here. So let's remove Optic and Shopify from the conversation. And Nemesis, you're saying could be a third, but it doesn't sound like you're as confident on that. So when we look at these groups, what other team should folks that go to this event look out for as top players and contenders that could make a run?
For me, it's FaZe. I think FaZe are like the gatekeepers of the top 3, to be honest. And they were the ones that knock out Nemesis at the last tournament convincingly. I mean, it wasn't even close. Trippy has been like playing absolutely lights out since the beginning of this year and ever since he joined this roster. I feel like he didn't get a chance to shine when he was on Optic last year, but now moving to play with this group of guys, Suppressed, Falcated, and who's their fourth? I'm forgetting right now. Regardless, this team is going to be one to watch out for. I think they're going to absolutely dominate their pool, and they're going to be a really tough round 1 for whoever runs into them.
You agree? You got an argument for Envy to be that third place seed there if you remove Optic and Shopify? Or
I really do, and it's kind of the old chip on the shoulder situation I've seen. Again, not a player, the coach on the side, but I've seen a lot of predictions this week expecting a top 16, top 12. At best, I've seen top 8 from us, but I do not put that many teams ahead of us in any way, shape, or form. I'm not trying to throw shade in SSG's direction or in FaZe's direction, but we're that third team right now.
I will say, and this is not just because Nick is my homie and we sit next to each other at work, but I think that his team, Envy, are incredible, and they actually have a chance to win their pool. Pool D is definitely the pool of death. They have Space Station, who are definitely at the lowest point of their careers. Every single one of them can't figure out why this team doesn't work. They're all world champions, but they've been losing to like top 12 teams in scrims recently. They just look all the way off kilter. And I think Envy has a real chance to take Pool D. I think they might have to worry about the number 1 Mexican team that'll likely end up in that pool from open bracket. That's going to be scary. But if they can beat SSG, they probably win the pool.
Yeah, and I guess if there's anybody, it's somebody who's not even on that sheet of paper that I could see getting top 6. It's Ether out of Mexico. That team is too good. I think the format for what teams are automatically qualified for pools and regions and all that stuff still needs a little work because them to be in open for the past 2 events has been ridiculous. They deserve spots over half of the teams in pools right now.
Well said. So if you guys are going to IEM and you're going to be there at Halo, you can find Nick on stage coaching Envy. And I don't know if you'll be seen there, but I know you're casting LVT.
We're going to be right next to the main stage, actually. We're front and center. We'll be casting the LVT setup. We're going to be right next to the crowd, so you'll hear the crowd through our mics. If
plug the stream, wherever it's at.
LVT Halo is the stream. I'm one of the casters. We've got 6, though, so about a third of the time you'll see me casting on there.
Awesome. Look for the Ninja, look for Nick. And now we're going to transition clutch or kick. where we may learn to love or hate each other. I was bullied last week. Davis is always bullied. A little bit different format, right? We all bring a topic here. We try to sell it to one another, and we either clutch the idea or we kick it. I forgot to talk to production about order. I think we can go in any order, so I want to start with Nick. Nick, let's do your clutch or kick first.
Well, I picked this a little bit when the schedule was supposed to be a 2:30 match and a 7 p.m. match. But FaZe is making the playoffs, man. That side of the group is stacked from top to bottom, but I think they're going to come through clutch. They have players like Simple, Kerrigan, and Elige. Let's just look into some numbers. Some of us are a little bit more numbers driven, myself included. Simple's been on the roster for 16 days, and he has a rating of 1.35. He's won a major. He's been an MVP of a major. He's a 21-time MVP, 6-time major EVP, 36-time EVP, 13-time LAN winner, arguably the GOAT of Counter-Strike. Not to be backed up with Kerrigan, who's also won a major, who's also won 24 LANs, IGL Player of the Year. We have Elige, who's won 9 LANs and a major EVP. They have the stats to back it up, and the players that have been there before. Aurora and Heroic, all 10 players on that team, no MVPs, no LAN wins, no nothing. Liquid has some that share a little bit with Elige when he was on Liquid, but other than that, nobody's got a chance. They're playing Heroic right now, so semi-spoilers. They might have already lost for all we know, but they were looking good. They were up 1-0 when we walked in here, but nobody else even comes close. They have 2 games to win. The Simple effect with those 800,000 views, if you believe in the script, CS needs Simple in the playoffs to boost the viewership. So,
what do you think, Davis? You buying a car from this guy?
I am. I'm buying it.
Let's go.
Because that's the biggest thing for me is I think the vibes that it will be brung to this team just by having Simple on the team, especially if they can beat Heroic right now and they face Liquid again, it will be huge. You have a lot of narratives drawn up, especially when you play Liquid with Twist, being a former FaZe member and just all the narrative there. I just think it's really going to rise this whole team up. As you said, they've all won plenty of majors. They're all decorated, and they're ready for the moment.
Yeah.
So FaZe have had a really rough year, but I think the reason that they've had a rough year is because they don't have any aura. And what does Simple bring to the team? Aura. So I'm going to clutch this. I think they finally have like a person on the team that Kerrigan believes in, because honestly, I feel like Kerrigan has been the most frustrated he's ever been in his entire career this year, but maybe going to come in with some more confidence. It felt like the FaZe roster that we've seen so far this year has mostly been playing not to lose, but I think with Simple, they're going to start playing to win, and that's exactly what they're going to do.
it's fun.
I'm sorry, man. I got to kick this. I want to clutch it so bad purely for Dylan, right, over in Skilled. If he's so excited to see Simple, I want to see FaZe make playoffs. But when I'm looking at this Heroic, that map 2 was looking a little daunting. Heroic was taking it. So if they go to a map 3, I don't know if FaZe can will themselves for that. But let's say they do get past Heroic. There's a wall coming called Aurora. And that is a very solid team. And I don't have the stats that you do. They don't have as much MVPs. But Aurora is apparently the number 6 team in the league. There is a lot of high potential for this team, and they only got upset, I would argue, because they got off that 16-hour flight to go compete. Otherwise, they wouldn't even be in this bracket. So I think that FaZe will have a tough opponent in Aurora, and I don't think that they have the skill to get past Aurora.
Yeah, we all picked Aurora to be the runner-up at PGL Astana, and they fell flat there too. So that's kind of, I was riding high on Aurora previously, but since they didn't show up there, I kind of was like, all right, FaZe can do this. FaZe is hot right now. Aurora's not.
Yeah, FaZe haven't impressed me enough to be able to want to put them above Aurora. It's purely like an emotional play that I want to see Simple and the viewership goes up. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, they're 2/5 of a new squad, so both sides make sense. But
so you went, Eli. Let's have you go second. Clutch or kick? What's your top?
Yeah, so this is not exactly esports centric, but there was a tweet recently that shows Grand Theft Auto. That shows Grand Theft Auto 6, and it's a before and after of the graphics. And yeah, they look great, but my question for everybody is, do we really care that much about graphics? I think that the Zoomer brain of wanting every game to look perfect, I don't care if I can see every blade of grass perfectly flowing in the winds. Make the game good. If you care that much about what a game looks like, then put the game down and play the game of life, because I don't care.
So what are we clutching and kicking there? What are you having us buy?
No, hold on, I got this. What? The game has to look good. If we're talking competitive, like FPS and things like that, no, it doesn't. It doesn't matter if every shadow is perfect or every blade of grass is. For FPS, no. But single player immersive story games, they need to look good. They need to look like they were made in 2025. Kick.
You go.
I'm gonna kick this, but only because
Zoomer brain.
one thing. No, I actually don't care about graphics much. I don't really play single player games. I'm pretty much only competitive stuff, so I don't care about graphics. But my thing is with GTA 6, like it's been so long.
12 years.
Yeah, it's been so long since the game has been released. Like the graphics have to be good. It's GTA.
That's part of my argument, though, is like the reason the game is delayed and where you're not going to be able to play it is because they're over-focused on the Zoomer mentality about graphics. Like, I don't care, bro. Release the game sooner. It can look slightly worse, and it can run on my PC that's a bit older.
But did you see what they did with the beer bottle? And when you move the beer bottle, the bubbles?
You know what I can do in real life? I can grab a beer bottle and I can move it around and I can see it. That's why I say put the game down and look at what's around you IRL if you care that much about the graphics.
I'm only kicking because I don't know what we're talking about. I don't know what the topic's for. But like, I agree with you conceptually. I don't really care about graphics in games too much. Like, I don't want it to look like PlayStation 1
So two people
days.
said they don't care about graphics, but they kicked it.
Well, because your comment here is like, should we care about graphics? And if I'm clutching that we should care about it, then I'm kicking because I think I shouldn't care about it. But my comment to that more is like just the topic should be a little bit framed a little different. So I'm kicking that I don't care about graphics. It's whatever, right? I play single player games. If it's a single player game, I want it to look very good. Like, I don't want to play cartoon Ghost of Tsushima. I don't want to play cartoon Last of Us, right? I want those real games. But then on the counterpoint is Borderlands, when it originally came out, that game was supposed to be hyper realistic, hyper like accurate to gun details and all that. Now it became a cartoon. And I think Borderlands benefited from that, right? So it's just, what's your flavor? I don't know. Frame it better next time, Eli. This is on you.
Before the drama, though, would you have played Marathon based off of how it looked?
No.
Because it was graphically unappeasing.
No, that's not why I wouldn't play it. I just don't like those type of games.
Okay.
I actually like the art style, but then I found out it was stolen, so now I can't like it. I'm morally obligated to not like it.
You can still like it. You just have to give credit to the right person.
I like Anti-Real's version of Marathon. I don't like Bungie stole it from Anti-Real.
All right, Davis, I'll let you go next.
Yeah, so we're diving into the LEC, and mine's actually going to be an upset that I see happening, but I don't think many people do. I see G2 beating Fnatic in this LEC playoff. And the reason really for me is just the experience that they have on their roster. With the likes of Hansama, Broken Blade, and Caps, I just think that this team is going to arrive at the moment. And I think when it comes to it, these teams are really, really close in stats. I actually have some printed off right here. I'm not going to go too in depth, but on Dragons, they're even.
Please do. I love numbers.
They're even on Dragons. They both are almost even on their first tower percentage and their feats of strength percentage. So I think it's going to be a tremendously even matchup around the board. I think Caps with the player that he is and Broken Blade with the solo lane, he gets a lot of kills in his solo lanes. I think with that advantage too, I think they'll be able to ride that to success.
Kick. I don't claim to be the League of Legends expert by any stretch of the imagination, but when I asked Chris, aka Party Foul, about this match, he said it wasn't even going to be close. Half of those stats that you just read were 50-50, so I'm kicking it. Fnatic's going to win it.
Chris doesn't know what he's talking about.
Wow.
I'm the other league champion in this office. Okay. G2 is a team of results. And if you look at the history of G2 versus Fnatic, G2 are the kings of that. And there's a reason. There's a man in the mid lane named Caps. And that's all you need. Caps is the best player in the West. He has been for years. And when it is do or die, Caps rises to the occasion. He will shut Fnatic down.
See, I would have clutched that argument. That was better. Davis, come on.
I'm going to kick it. I think Caps is washed. Fnatic looks good. And it is what it is.
There you go.
Okay.
Well, hey, we're going to talk. We got Pick Ems here in a little bit.
I just want you guys to know there's a moment coming later. So I want you all to remember this conversation. And more importantly, who it came from. Okay, because there's a moment later that we're all going to have a good laugh for. My clutch or kick production, if you want to roll it, it is Uzi should not have been the second inductee into the Hall of Legends. I think that Uzi is a player who many will say are influential to the game. I heavily disagree with a lot of this stuff. Uzi did not perform at a high level. He did not win championships. A lot of people are just riding on the hype that's Uzi, and I think Riot only picked this so they could sell a $500 skin to a lot of players in China. I do not think Uzi deserved to be the second one in it, and that is not Uzi's fault. That is Riot's fault, because Riot wants to be a special little snowflake, and instead of doing a class of champions, they do one-off, which creates this whole thing right here. How do we define who goes into the Hall of Legends? Riot defined it as greatness. I don't even have stats in front of me. This is blank. I'm not even going to try that hard. People who should have beat him: Mata from the support, Mad Life from the support. Mad Life's playstyle as a support still influenced to this day. He encouraged aggressive supports. He revolutionized Thresh. Uzi, he never beat SKT in World Championship playoffs. He couldn't do it. He couldn't beat Piglet. He couldn't beat Faker. Why? Because Uzi had a selfish playstyle. He made all of his teammates play worse just to enable him. You can't shine if you're with Uzi. Uzi has to shine. You have to pick your Lulus, your Orianas. Uzi does not deserve this. That's what I'm selling. Who's buying it?
I'm buying it. Everything that I've seen is kind of pretty much to what you said. They're doing it because they know they're going to sell a lot of skins, and that's not how you should base your second ever Hall of Legends pick.
Yeah, I'm gonna clutch. I gotta agree with Cap. I feel like when it comes to like any type of Hall of Fame in any esport or sport in general, it's like wins should be the number one criteria, and there's so many people that Uzi has less wins than. It's like Uzi, sure, he's a phenomenal player. I will never take that away from him. He made some of the sickest highlights we ever saw, but did it lead to wins? No.
Second ever.
Yeah, I mean, the second ever is crazy. I'm assuming Faker was first, like obviously, but I think there's a lot of players that deserve the spot more than Uzi, despite him being a fantastic player.
I'm actually gonna kick this. And the only reason I'm going to kick it is because the longevity of Uzi's career and how he's been at the top of his game ever since 2012. A lot of these other players that I've seen mentioned on the timeline that should be getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, they've been playing League of Legends since like 2017, 2018, 2016. Guys, the game's been out since 2009. This is the Hall of Legends. We need people that are OGs, that have been around from the beginning, that are actual legends. And Uzi's name, yes, he might not be the best player of all time. He might not have the best stats, but you know Uzi's name. If you know RNG and you know old League of Legends, you know who Uzi is, and that's why he's deserving of this Hall of Legends induct.
I respect it.
Okay.
I really thought I was going to get a super clutch there, and I was going to be excited. But Davis gets revenge for all the times that we've kicked him while he's down. Good job, Davis. That has been Clutch or Kick. Now our next segment, I got to get organized. CJ, I don't know how you do this. Props to you, buddy. Pick Ems is next. We're going to go into Pick Ems, and we don't have an order for this that I see here. So I want to start with League because it's fresh on everybody's mind. If we can, production. If we can't, just, I don't know, send me a signal that we can't do that. But I want to start with League of Legends reveals. And Davis, I really hope that I didn't screw you up, but I want you to reveal your pick here first.
Yeah, I got Cloud9 and G2.
Well, on the paper, you had Fnatic. So I don't know how they got that, but I thought did you swap it?
I did, yeah, I swapped it.
Oh, you swapped it. That's good, because I went, I'll go next. I did Team Liquid and G2.
I had Cloud9 and Fnatic. If I recall correctly, yes.
My Halo guy, Eli. Cloud9 and Fnatic for Thug Nasty as well.
The Halo boys coming at it. Anyone want to debate why they picked Fnatic?
I mean, like we said a moment ago, Caps is washed, and Fnatic, they just look, I mean, of course, I'm being facetious when I say Caps is washed. The guy's incredible. But as a team, Fnatic has just been playing better this split so far. It feels like, yeah, they've lost a few matches that were a little bit head scratchers, but overall, they seem a little bit more consistent. G2 hasn't shown me the same consistency.
I respect it. I picked Team Liquid solely off of hype. I mean, Yuji looked absolutely phenomenal last week. I posted in the Discord that if Team Liquid can keep playing like that, they're in a good position to win this split, and I doubled down on it with Pick Ems. So
I think Cloud9 still is the second best team in NA. I know FlyQuest handled them last week, and handled them's probably an understatement. So I think a strong bounce back for them this week. They're going to be hungry. They're going to be mad. And yeah, Liquid was hot last week, but Cloud9's going to show that they're the second best team.
That's kind of where I'm at. I mean, I saw C9 as just being better than Liquid throughout the entirety of this split so far.
Yeah.
But I do have to say, Yuji has come on this team and has really changed them. So it is a scary matchup for me, but I do think that C9 is just a little bit too good.
Yeah, I definitely bought into that hype there. So going back to the Pick'ems graphic, let's do Valorant. Just to explain to the folks at home, I forgot to do it for the League one. What we're picking here for Valorant, EWC, American Qualified Team 1 and 2. Who wants to start this off? Who did their picks?
Davis, go for it.
Yeah, I can start it off. So I went with MIBR and EG for my 2.
Okay. I am MIBR as well. I think they're the best team in this bracket, no question about it. And 100 Thieves.
Interestingly enough, we're in sync once
Let's
again because I also go MIBR 100 Thieves.
I did 100 Thieves and EG.
Wow.
Okay. MIBR falls out, huh?
Yeah, so interesting about this is the 100 Thieves and EG play, so I'm doing a double down. Whoever wins that, the loser, right, or the loser of that is going to do the sweep through the bracket.
Wow.
I think both those teams have been playing out of their minds. EG ended on such a high note that I think EG are really coming to play. And I can't see a world where, MIBR rode some hype waves there, but I think 100 Thieves have looked better overall as of late, right? In the regular season, they fell short, but now they want some vengeance. So I think 100 Thieves are going to take that ride there.
I think those picks are, you might as well play a parlay, bro, because the chances of that happening are pretty low for one of these teams to make it and then the other one to make the lower bracket run. I mean, you should bet some money on that. You might get a big payout.
I'm going to be betting some money. If there's one thing I'm betting on, let's go to the Call of Duty Pick'ems, baby. The Call of Duty Pick'ems, we picked Major 4 champ, CDL champs #1 seed, and then the number 8 seed, right? So I'm not as good at picking these as CJ, but I'll kick it off. I'm tripling down, right? I picked Optic to win Major 4. I got LA Thieves being the #1 seed, number 8 seed being Minnesota Rocker sneaking in there.
Okay.
How's that even possible?
Well, because Optic, if they do win, they would have enough points to overtake.
Yeah, and I'm thinking Rocker's going to upset and take. I think it's Carolina. I think it's Boston Breach's spot. I think Boston Breach.
So Boston would have to fall top 12. I don't know if it's even possible.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, it's possible. I did the math. Wait, do your pick because we did some math. This is crazier math right here.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'll go ahead with mine next. So I have FaZe taking away the major, and then eventually taking the #1 seed with that major win. And I have the Ravens falling all the way to the 8th seed.
That's the hard math to figure out.
Well, because he'd have Optic going to top 4, like you said already.
Well,
Optic top
that
4.
makes sense.
Optic needs top 4, and Breach needs 15 or 20 points.
Yeah,
So they get top 6, they got it.
Well, it's the same thing because Royal Ravens is up higher than Boston Breach. I got Boston Breach falling out. I got Rocker sneaking in there. I got both. The battle for 8, Optic and Rocker, I put them both going through.
I think as long as
champs.
Boston gets top 12, his predictions could happen.
Yeah. Go ahead, Eli.
I have LA Thieves winning it. I think that they finish with the #1 seed, and Optic have the 8th seed. That's backwards.
Optic #1 seed, baby. Let's go. Give me some. Give me some, dude.
That could be my bad filling out the form, but yeah, that's supposed to be Thieves with #1.
That's impressive.
That would mean, I think Optic,
Do that math.
Yeah.
I think some really bad things would happen to everybody above them for that to even be possible.
Yeah. I'm going to, Major 4 winner, I'm going to give it to Atlanta FaZe. And then with that, they're going to take the #1 seed, and Optic ain't going anywhere. They're sitting right there in 8.
Hey, I'll take it. Optic #1 or number 8. I'm fine with either of those. Yeah. So overall, I mean, I tried to make these pick'ems a little bit more thought-provoking, right? We've talked over the past few weeks about who's going to get number 8 seed. #1, I mean, really, you only had 2 choices: LA Thieves or Atlanta FaZe. Who's going to get that 1 seed in champs? But whoever that is, right? If you're thinking that Optic are going to get number 8, I think that's how that lines up in champs. Is Optic's going to play that #1 seed, and it's not looking good. If you're Optic there, I mean, from history, I know fanboy aside, right? Like I say Optic can beat anyone. But any thoughts from anyone? Carolina Royal Ravens getting 8th seed. I want this guy to explain it.
Yeah, well, what I was going to say really quickly to counter off that is, I mean, regardless if you think they can beat any team or not, being the 8th seed and playing the #1 seed is not a position you want to be in regardless. But anyway, yeah, I just haven't seen anything from Royal Ravens the last few weeks. I think they're on a tremendous downfall, and I don't see them really winning the series here. I think they drop out in their very first match against whoever they play. It'll be the loser between Optic and Ultra. And kind of like I was saying earlier, I just think the bracket really lines up well for Optic to play well, and Breach only being 20 points behind Ravens. They don't really need to do much as long as they can win literally 1 game, they'll have enough points secured. So, yeah, I just see, Ravens getting bounced early, Optic making their run. If they can make it to top 4, they'll pass them as well. And, yeah, Royal Ravens will just fall on down.
Yeah. Anything for that stat guy? You just read the numbers.
No, I still don't know how the math is going to work there, but
Yeah,
Rocker has to,
esports
Rocker
maps
has
should
to
be
get like
easier.
top 4, and I don't see them
I think it checks out.
making it past Elim round 2.
Who?
Rocker.
He's talking about Minnesota Rockers.
Yeah.
The Rockers start off with Heretics. That's already looking rough, and then they drop down and they would play Boston Breach if they lost there. So could Rocker get it done with Breach? I mean, I think realistically,
Yeah, they're going to win that. But they're
yeah.
not gonna
And
win
then
the next
after
round.
that, they would either face Falcons or they would face LA Thieves or Surge.
I think y'all are crazy. I think Boston beats Rocker easy.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but I put
Me personally.
I went for the double. I won Pick Ems last week.
Yeah,
so
he knows.
I'm shooting for the stars.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just giving everybody else a fair shot. And then we have one more game. I forgot the order we went. Sorry, production.
Counter-Strike
going
is
off-
remaining.
Counter-Strike is remaining. Go ahead, Nick. Kick us off with yours.
It sounds like I'm going to set up the copy-paste because he already spoiled it a little bit. But for Team Halo, Falcons is winning. Vitality is coming in second.
That shows backwards
You
on there.
got that backwards, but that's okay. We can just move the crown later.
Yeah,
Eli,
it's
why don't you
fine.
go ahead?
Yeah, I had Falcons coming out on top, Vitality second here.
Let's see. Yeah, everyone's getting a crown for their second place. Davis, you go ahead.
I had Vitality
He's
winning
nervous.
and Falcons. Let's go.
So, yes, yours is right.
I actually didn't. Mine was the opposite. I just said that because the other two were gone. I have Falcons winning and I
Bear
have Vitality
with me.
winning.
Okay. So
Here-
we all say Falcons is going to win and Vitality second.
Yeah.
This is where
Oh,
they
is
fall.
that what we all say?
Yes.
Because I say Falcons win and Mouse gets second.
Oh, the Vitality hard fall. I don't think they're going to fall off that hard.
Well, it's a single elimination in the playoffs, so they only get one shot. And odds are, I think that we're going to see the brackets lined up here, Mouse v. Falcons. So if Falcons win that, Mouse goes up and plays Vitality, who we assume is going to win their side in the group against the Mongols. So they would be on that side of the bracket. I think Mouse are going to upset Vitality in the semis. I called this weeks ago that I thought Mouse would be the team to upset them. I also think that Falcons could reasonably do it. So if Vitality do get through there, then I'm still safe because Falcons are going to end that streak. But Vitality falls this series, but it's going to be to one of these two teams.
I am so looking forward to next Monday in all of the hot takes. That
Yeah,
are just
there's a
gonna
lot
be,
of hot takes.
Yeah.
He's going to hit like 1 for 4 and still think he's the king.
Hey, that's all you need is one, baby.
He hasn't said it yet, but if Mongols could be the team to upset Vitality, that would be the best.
Yeah,
That
I
would be
didn't
the
even
best thing
predict
to
that, but wait till Monday comes if I get to sing about that,
Okay.
right? Any other comments?
Well, you don't.
on-
You didn't have faith in him.
Hey,
I think it's funny that production accidentally put Vitality first because they probably assume like they
There's
don't
no way.
all they
Yeah.
don't
They
think
don't
that
all think
Vitality's
Falcons.
like are gonna lose for once, right? Because okay, thank you. They real time fix here.
I love it.
So yeah, it's like it's kind of shocking, I guess, that all of us think that this is when Vitality falls.
yeah, shout out to J-Dog on production there handling that for us. So good guy there. Any other comments on Counter-Strike before we move on? I'm
all I
asking
got.
that because I got to figure out my order here.
I need to run out and make sure that FaZe just won.
We did the feed, we did the big story, we did Clutch Your Kick, we did Pick Ems, and that's going to be it for the show. It looks like we're at the final take and outro. So, guys, we're going to do the outro here. I don't know how to do an outro. I'm just going to wing it here. Look forward to IEM Dallas. There's a lot of good games. Go find Nick on stage with Envy. Go find Eli casting Halo with LVT. Davis will still be on the show next week, so say hi to him. He's not going to be at the event, and I'll be there along with a few other from the Queued Up squad, folks you've seen over the different weeks. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching. Take a moment, go down, like, comment, subscribe. I should have called this out earlier. This is why CJ's the host. Comment on something in this video that you liked with your opinion of it. Is Davis right? Are we going to see Carolina Royal Ravens go 8? Is Envy going to make a deep run in Halo? Do you love them? Is Eli, do you care about graphics? Right? Is Eli even got a point here? How bold of him to quote himself for a Clutch Your Kick. No one's even done that before. But that's going to be it for the show. Thanks for watching, guys. This has been Queued Up. Love seeing you guys here. We'll see you next week on Monday, something like that. Yeah. Thanks, everyone.